Thank you for watching this video. I am Andrew Maguire, a retired Methodist minister in the UK. I studied classics, literae humaniores, at Oxford when I was a young student. This stimulated my interest in Greek and Latin literature and later led me to study more closely writings from the first 5 centuries of the life of the Church, and then to create and maintain the Early Church Texts website. The subscription version of the website is a great resource for people who want to know more about the first 5 centuries of church history. This video gives a brief introduction and then a brief guide to its features. The site is like a reader in early church history, with well over 200 carefully prepared on-site Greek and Latin textual extracts with translations, covering a wide range of themes and writers. These texts have dictionary lookup links and background notes. The site has links to background information on about 800 people and themes, and links to information on around 230 church councils. There are many bibliographies with links to Amazon. The site also has carefully indexed links to virtually all of the complete Greek and Latin texts from the first 5 centuries, contained in the Menia Patrologiae Cursus Completus series. These are mainly the scanned texts at Google Books and other similar sites. English translations of many full works have been found, and there is a facility for viewing the translations separately or alongside the original language. There is an extensive scripture-based index of these texts, which means that it is easy to find commentaries and homilies from the first 5 centuries on Matthew and any biblical book. There is a separate video about using the website for biblical studies. Let's look at the menu system, which gives access to the site's texts and resources. First, the menus at the top of the screen. Under the Home etc. menu, you will find a link to the site homepage and to plenty of useful help files about the website. You will find a complete list of the texts on the site and a complete list of the authors for whom there are links to complete texts on external websites. These menu entries can also be found on the publicly available version of the site. Here is the link to the extensive set of bibliographies on writers and themes. You might also like to note that the site gives access to the complete writings of the Apostolic Fathers with Greek texts and translations. Under the Texts menu, you will find links to all of the on-site original language texts with translations alongside them, as on this page. These texts are arranged alphabetically by author. Notice the little pop-up information boxes, which give brief information about each author and each text. You will also find documents of the various councils. Under the Councils menu link, texts of various creeds under the Creeds link. Sometimes there are texts about a person, as in the case here of Ephraim the Syrian. As well as giving access to the texts on the Early Church Text website, the texts menus also give links to complete original language texts and translations where available on other websites. For example, there are links to complete original language texts in the Menia Patrologia series at Google Books and elsewhere, and also links to a number of other sites with original language texts. In addition, there are links to English translations. So under Basil the Great, at the bottom of the Basil Texts menu, you will find a link Text Resources Off-Site. These links are well worth exploring. The Greek texts entry takes you to a page with many complete Greek texts. Some at the TLG website in the publicly available text it has there. A complete list of the Basil texts in the relevant mean volumes and so forth. The translations link takes you to a page with links to English translations. Greek with translation alongside does just what it says and enables you to view the off-site original language texts and translations alongside each other, following the instructions on screen. You might also like to note that these links to off-site texts can all be viewed together through a special facility for viewing the off-site original language texts and translations alongside each other. Go to Off-Site Texts under the Home menu, and you will find an A to Z index of original language texts and translations. There is a similar facility for the site's Scripture Index to off-site texts. Go to the Bible Index page under the Home menu. The Clavis Clavium entry takes you to the Clavis Clavium page on Basil at the Brepols website. You will find here a comprehensive list of the works of Basil and the various editions. The contents of the previously printed Clavis Patrum volumes are now available online. They are extremely useful for reference. There are links to Clavis Clavium for nearly all the writers on the early church texts site menu system. List of works at Thesaurus Linguae Graecae, available if you have registered at TLG, gives a very helpful extensive list of the writings of Basil and for other writers. It is a good idea to register at TLG for a free account. This gives you access to the TLG canon and also to several patristic texts which are freely available at TLG, particularly, for example, for John Chrysostom. If you have a personal paid subscription to TLG, or your institution does, then there are, of course, many, many more Greek texts. These can be found by clicking on the name of the writer, clicking on the book icon to the side, and then clicking on the right pointing arrow for the texts which you want to access. The Themes menu at Early Church Texts contains links to exactly the same on-site texts as under the Texts menu, but they are indexed by theme, which in some cases might be helpful. So under Baptism, you will find the on-site texts on that theme. Then to the right of this, there are menus for the 1st to 5th centuries. At the top, these contain links to the on-site and off-site texts from the century in question. Below that, there are links to background information about Christian writers from the relevant century. You will also find here links to complete texts and translations off-site, even where the writer is not represented through texts yet on the Early Church Text website itself, as here with Ausonius. Then there are links to background information about non-Christian writers, links to information about bishops, the bishops of Rome and others, information about emperors, and then links to some church history timelines for the century. Below are links to information about some issues and people who caused controversy during the century. Finally, there are links to information about councils. There are lots of these for the 4th century, as you can see. If you're doing some research on church councils, then these links may well prove helpful. Take a look at the information about navigating Mansi volumes. Links to the Labbé volumes of councils may also later be added to the site. Let's look now at the menus on the left of the screen. These contain the same set of links to the texts and background information, but here they are in alphabetical order. Here are the links for Ambrose. Notice the links to the original language texts and translations, both the on-site texts and the off-site texts. Notice the background information links and the links to bibliographies. The same kind of pattern applies to the other entries. Occasionally there might be entries on the left side menu which are not on the top menu. For example, the left-hand menu gives easy access to the site's biblical index. So if you go to B and Bible commentaries and homilies, you will find an extensive set of links to original language texts, translations, and a facility for viewing them alongside each other. Again, on the left-hand menu, there are extensive links to background information about councils. Look under C, councils. When you go to one of the on-site original language text pages, the menus most relevant to the particular text will be included towards the top of the page. So here with Arius's letter to Alexander is the menu about Arius and the Arian controversy. The menu with background information links for Alexander. And the menu giving the list of other texts on the site by Athanasius, both the on-site and off-site texts. There are carefully prepared printable versions of all the site's on-site texts. Each on-site text has a brief introduction, making it easier to appreciate the context and significance. There are textual notes, normally taken from the source used, which give helpful background information. Just hold the cursor over the red or green numbers and the notes should appear. Most of these pages also have links through which you can access a scanned version of the complete text and a translation if available. Each page also has a link to a downloadable Word version of the particular text extract. There is a search facility for the site. Search terms can be entered in English or Greek letters. A Greek search term can be entered in transliterated English characters, as I've just done, or in Unicode Greek text with or without accents. Further information is given through the Search Help link. Of course, for entering Greek characters, you will need a software facility for typing in Greek, such as Keyman. The individual works of many writers can be found by entering their Clavis Patrum number in the search box. So for Cyprian's Ad Demetrianum, for example, you would enter CPL 0046. If you then click on the search result there, it should take you to Ad Demetrianum here, and click on the link and it will open up for you. If you are searching for a Greek writing, then you type CPG at the beginning instead of CPL. Always search with 4 numbers following the CPL or CPG. If there are only 2 numbers in the Clavis number, as with the 46 for Ad Demetrianum, then put 2 zeros at the beginning, as I just did, or if there are 3 numbers, then put 1 zero at the start. The Clavis numbers can be found through the Clavis Clavium links referred to previously on the site menu system. All of the on-site texts have dictionary lookup links embedded in them. Simply click on Greek or Latin words to access the lexicon link. Note that there are 2 different lexicon facilities available for each page. Click here to access the alternative one, and again just click on one of the Greek or Latin words. I hope that this guide has been useful. You can see that the site gives access to a wealth of texts and information. It is also constantly growing and developing, so there may well be more on the website than you have seen in this video. Check out the latest updates link. If you would like access to these enhanced features, do consider taking out one of the modestly priced subscription options for individuals or institutions. Trial subscriptions are also available, and there are special rates for students. Do this by clicking on the main site link at the root page of the website earlychurchtexts.com. And clicking here on main site will take you to the sign up page. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video.